functional range conditioning, wrist cars, controlled articular rotations. We do wrist cars every day to maintain the health, mobility, and longevity of our wrist and its associated joints. I'm going to do this standing up, and I recommend you do the same. It also helps if you watch yourself in a mirror while doing your cars. So sometimes I'll have patients do that. I have them do that in the office. Your starting position for your wrist car is going to be with the elbow bent and the forearm perfectly flat with the ground. So not twisted this way or that way, and not bent down or up, just perfectly 90-degree bend, level with the floor. When you begin your wrist car, you're going to start with bringing your hand down as far as you can towards the floor this direction. We're going to then bring the hand and wrist out towards the corner, and then start to bring the palm up as far as you can back towards yourself. Start to bring it over towards the midline of the body, and then down towards the floor this way. And we're going to continue with that rotational circle. I like to picture that I am scooping out the inside of a bowl with both the outsides of my hands. So I'm coming around the inner side of the bowl, twisting and rotating through my end ranges of motion. Now, one of the compensations I tend to see here with the wrist car is both bending of the elbow. So when people go into wrist flexion, a lot of times they will bend the elbow. So we want to keep that flat. The other compensation I'm going to see is when we start to circle the wrist this way, and what we're going to notice is that a lot of people are going to twist the forearm. So option number one to avoid that is going to be physically holding on your forearm so that you feel when it starts to want to twist, and we don't want to let it twist. So we'll continue with the rotation. This way, I'm not usually going to see much compensation, but as I go this way, I want to notice if this is starting to twist the forearm, and I don't want to let it twist. Option number two is you're going to tighten up your bicep muscle. So I'm going to keep this muscle a little more firm as I go through that wrist car, which is going to help lock in the position of the arm as I go through the car. Option number three, we're going to up the ante a little bit here. And we're going to take an iPhone, and you're going to place your iPhone, or maybe a book perhaps, where we're going to place it on the forearm flat so that as you go through the wrist car, you don't drop the phone on the ground, because nobody would want that to happen, would they? So as I'm doing my wrist car, I'm making sure that phone stays perfectly flat on my forearm. And that's our wrist cars, controlled articular rotations of the wrist.